Hello, Tina.
Hello, Jess and Josh. Nice to meet you guys. Heard great things.
What's
Amazing.
up? How we doing? It's a nice chair. You look very comfy.
Thank you. It's the classic IKEA chair that everyone has. So I think I see a lot of. It's a dupe of probably a very fancy one. Don't know what the fancy one is. But yeah, I love you guys' yellow background as well. It's pretty iconic. Definitely tuned into a few Seed Club 11 a.m. interviews before, so very excited to be here.
We just want to be a flash of yellow on a otherwise dull timeline.
Yeah, we've had a bunch of Monad ecosystem projects on, so excited to get kind of a more holistic view of it. So you're the head of ecosystem at Monad. Obviously, a very exciting time for you guys. Mainnet's coming, token claims are coming. You've made a bunch of
Yes.
noise in the last few weeks, kind of hyping up people up for it. So yeah, I guess maybe to start off, could you just kind of give us a quick overview of what head of ecosystem means?
Yes, it is a very confusing job, I think, because most of the time I'm doing a mix of everything. I really do like to say that I'm just someone who's helping move the ecosystem along. We have a fantastic team. When I first joined back in the beginning of last year, it was really about one-on-one mentoring of teams. And now it's really making sure that we get as much capital, great builders, and attention to ecosystem projects as possible. So my day can range from talking to builders to planning what our next big initiative is and really speaking to the experts on our team on consumer. Shreyas, as you guys know, I think he's come on before, Abdul with DeFi, Jing with AI, and Greg with gaming, and just working together as a team to push forward the Monad ecosystem.
So I want to get into mainnet launch. We want to talk
Yes.
about the plans around how you thought about the token, et cetera. But I would love to start off with the, I think we're seeing a lot of exciting new infrastructure launch. And I think each of these teams has a point of view on on an angle on the market in some way. And I think we see that represented in the types of applications or products that are launched on them. So I'm curious, what has your focus been from what does Monad want to see in its ecosystem? What represents the opportunity?
What represents the opportunity? To be honest, we have a huge range of different types of projects, but I would say that there's two types that really stand out. One, I think trading is going to be really big on Monad. For one, I think a performance system is really important to make sure that there's new primitives, essentially, that can't really exist well on other chains. So fully on-chain order books is a huge one. We have a really strong category of perps as well. So trading all types of different assets is going to be huge. And I think that also takes us into this second category that is emerging that we like to call like viral speculation or dopamine markets. I think we're still figuring out what that sounds like, but new things that are represented by tokens where people are making bets on, making predictions on. There's so many great teams like Kizzy, Redbat Sports, and Leverbet that are building in this category as well.
I think we call that crypto. We call it
yes. Well, I think that's it. Like speculation is such a huge part of crypto, and I think tokens. Like I think people think that they're evil sometimes, but it's really why we're here at the end of the day, right? Like it's a free financial market, new things can be created.
I love how much, people did think tokens were evil. I do not think that is remotely the vibe these days.
No,
and it is kind
not
of
at all.
To see how that has shifted. Maybe make a fine point on what a performance system unlocks here. And because I think there's like a core differentiator that maybe gets lost in a lot of the either FUD, which you guys have done some great job of leveraging some FUD here, and then all the way through to sort of the builder decision on where ultimately to go build.
Yeah, for sure. So I think the main thing that sets us apart is that the team at Category Labs has spent the last 3 years building not just a performance system, but one that is incredibly decentralized. It's been really exciting to get positive feedback from the EVM ecosystem on the new initiatives and innovations that has been brought forward, like RaptorCast, Monad BFT, Monad DB. I know a lot of people think about Monad and they just think, oh, parallel EVM, but I actually think that those things are going to be incredibly important to push forward what a performant EVM looks like. And decentralization is something that I think people are forgetting is important too. Like we want performance systems that actually are completely censorship resistant, and making sure that there's no sacrifice for decentralization in order for performance is something that really hasn't been achieved at the infrastructure layer yet. So we're really excited to bring that to market.
Yeah, maybe let's turn our attention to mainnet. I think
Yes.
something we like doing is comparing the different strategies that you guys and Mega ETH maybe are running. Like you guys are taking a much more, obviously raise a bunch of private money and are going very, very broad, with an airdrop and getting people excited to come and participate on the chain. They're taking a more kind of raise from the public, even curated approach with like incubating projects more directly instead of going very broad. So curious about, I guess, the type of like ecosystem culture kind of dynamics you're looking to have on day one of this ecosystem.
Yeah. That's a great question, and definitely heard there on the different views that people have on the strategy that our team has taken. Ecosystem culture, I would say that we want to encourage as much healthy competition as possible. I really see Monad as this open economy where all of the best teams can come together and compete. So I think that's why we've decided to be open, but also introduce things like Monad Momentum, where it's open for everyone to apply, but we've had really, really stringent requirements on what it means to actually be able to get incentives that get passed on to users. We had over 400 applications, and we're in the final stages of finalizing who those teams are going to be for wave one. And I think a part of the ethos is that it doesn't end at wave one. If we see teams that are performing really well when mainnet is live, then wave two is going to be open, wave three as well. So I think we like to define it as open, but with a level of healthy competition.
Yeah, I think that's such an interesting fine line that somebody in your position gets to walk, right? Both this trying to build a big open tent, and then the reality is there's just a major gap between exceptional products and the rest. And if you do not have exceptional products winning, you probably are going to be behind the ball in some way. And so that open tent, while also being able to focus in on the ones that have probably the biggest opportunity to move the needle, is I think maybe a lot of where the criticism and base comes from in some places, and I think other teams are walking it in different ways. But Momentum seems like an interesting initiative here. You want to maybe just detail out what that is and what you're hoping it will achieve?
Yes. So what we really want to do is get teams that are laser focused on user acquisition, have some fun campaign where they want to really make sure they get as many users in the product and retained in the product as possible. So making sure that mon incentives are matched one-to-one to what the team is bringing. And then I think the other thing that I wanted to comment on as well is that I often think about how we decide to choose these teams. And a big part of it is just making sure that they are the products that hopefully the market chooses. At the end of the day, we're not investors. We don't pretend that we know everything about who is going to be the best product, but whoever is focused on users the most, we essentially want to double down, and we'll have more data when mainnet comes as well.
How do you think? So I think Blast famously did this, and I think
Yes.
we all know what happened when incentives dried up there. So what do you think you need to get right for that not to happen?
Yeah, that is actually something we thought about a lot. We studied a lot of different incentive programs. One of the things is that we want to make sure that outside of the incentives program as well, we're going to have lots of different initiatives that highlight teams, right? There may be teams that user acquisition is important to them, but they're focused on something else right now, and we want to make sure that that is also highlighted. So while it is going to be an incredibly important initiative, I think that that really cannot be the basis of it. They have to be really good products. I think that is the main thing that makes a difference, to be completely honest. And I think the other difference is wave one and wave two, wave three teams aren't going to be the same. So teams will be able to see how they go. They might continue, but they might also need to understand how they're going to retain users without ongoing incentives as well.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, I think Josh, your question about like the culture that a chain is trying to steward, I think, is maybe the core to that, to answering the question of how do you go make this work better than maybe Blast has. Because I think we were also talking yesterday just about incentives over in the OpenSea ecosystem and seeing how much they dried up when where's the organic demand here.
Yeah.
And I think we've had some opportunity. I think we're investors in at least one, if not more, teams that are going to be launching on Monad. And there's like I don't know, a polish, a vision. Like these folks are building really interesting things, and so I think
Yes.
ultimately it comes down to, are there interesting new assets launching on Monad that people want to come in, be active participants in?
Exactly. Ideally, these are the teams that would do the best without incentives. I think that's definitely the goal here as well. And incentives and user acquisition bonuses in the beginning is very normal in Web 2. And I think, yeah, it's something that should definitely be considered in teams' acquisition strategies.
Curious what keeps you up at night is you think, 6 months post mainnet, like what is the biggest risk or the biggest thing you have to get right? Or if this
Tell
goes,
us about your anxiety.
if this goes,
Oh,
if
I
this
have
goes
so
wrong,
many,
if this goes
Josh.
wrong, where does it go wrong?
Well, I think for me, what actually keeps me up at night is what Monad is going to look like in 5 years. In 6 months, I think a lot of stuff is going to happen. Well, one, where we really have a solid plan on what the builder initiatives look like going forward. We are going to have a really big announcement for our biggest initiative so far in the first 3 months of mainnet launch. So that is something I'm super confident about and something that I think will benefit builders a lot. But the thing that actually makes me nervous but excites me the most is what the ecosystem will look like when things are not going well. Every single L1, every single L2, Solana is a great example of this. When Solana was $8, the community and the ecosystem was actually the strongest show of all of the work that had gone in. And I'm actually really excited of whatever that moment looks like for us. And I think that is something that's incredibly scary, but will be actually the best time. And when you think about things on like a 5-year horizon, 5-10-year horizon, it's definitely going to come. Markets have cycles. So I'm just really excited for all the new challenges that are going to come. Honestly, I'm always having like 5 different anxieties at the same time. So
I mean, there is something.
That's how I look about it.
There is something special about the depths of bear markets where all
Yes.
the tourists have left, the attention is no longer here, and you're just surrounded by the people that truly care and are kind of long-term committed. And it's often when most of the best stuff gets built or the foundation is laid.
Exactly. I think that what the difference is today from 6 months is actually not going to change too much, apart from the fact that the chain is going to be live and we'll have more exciting opportunities. And we're just going to keep going forward regardless of how good or bad it is.
I'm curious what because I think strategic planning in 2025 is probably, this uncertain, unclear thing for anybody that's building, probably any business that touches technology and even beyond. But I think specifically in crypto, when things are moving so quickly, metas change, buying behavior change, traders behaviors change. I'm curious how you guys, and you guys have a fairly big team. You guys have been building this for a while. Beautiful big office, lots of beautiful space to go and do deep thinking in. How are you guys getting clear on what the future is and then structuring yourselves to go execute against it?
Yes, that is something that I actually think we have quite a lot of rigor in the team. Also, I like that you called out. We have a great space. We also have a space for builders called the studio. So both of you should come by at any time. You're very welcome to.
We've been there. We've been there.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
A hell of an office. Yeah.
It's a hell of an office.
I think it's really important to plan by quarters, but I would actually say that the way that we approach this is we have a goal, but we're very aware that the plan is actually going to change. The plan to get to the goal changes. I think every single quarter, our team is not setting goals because we feel like it's these vanity metrics that we should meet, but more as a way to have a reflection point of what is going to be the next big thing. Like initiatives like Monad cards, for example, that was amazing, right? It's not like there was a OKRs on like, we must do this. It was an idea that came from tunes on the team. People realized, wait, this makes sense. And we all just focused our attention to make sure it was the most well executed initiative ever, that was able to draw a lot of attention. That's not something that was planned 6 months ahead, but when we saw that it was a really good opportunity, we just all focused on it. So I would say that there's some amount of planning, but most of it is flexibility. I don't think any team that has a 1-year plan and stuck to it has actually done very well
especially
crypto.
In crypto. Yeah,
Yeah, crypto is crazy.
2-week plans are a bust. Well, no. I mean, maybe not wrong.
2 weeks. 2 weeks. I don't know. That might be slightly too short of a timeline, but yeah.
Well, we're not out here trying to build critical infrastructure, Tina. So we can be a little bit more flexible. All right, I think we got to leave you here. Obviously, a lot of big things happening. I think for folks that are maybe building in the Monad ecosystem, considering it, momentum.monad.xyz. And I think even if you're just trying to wrap your head around go to markets, how incentives are being applied, again, we keep talking about just the joy we have in being able to see these economic experiments being run by really incredible teams, and at the very least, the lessons we can all learn from it. So thank you for all the work that you're doing. We're very excited to see you guys push towards mainnet, and yeah, look forward to having you back on maybe after to debrief on some of the joy.
Thank you so much, Josh and Jess. One thing I'd like to call out, if you guys haven't already, Claim Portal ends November 3, and we have a surprise coming out on the 28th of October. So look out for that. That's all I can say. That's all I'm allowed to say. All right. Thank you so much for having me on.
Clip it.
That is skills to do that right at the end, because she knows I'm going to push on her a little bit, but now I actually have to.
Oh, look, we suddenly have 5 more minutes.
Oh, wow. I mean, what did we dive into that? 4 days away. What might be happening in 4 days?
Yeah,
I'm curious, what could it be?
Yeah, there will be a surprise on the 28th. That's all I can say. So make sure to check the Claim Portal.
Okay.
Claim at .bota.xyz.
Amazing.
Let's go.
Thanks, guys.
Peace, Tina.